What's up, everyone? My name is Jeff, and today we're having fun playing some Virtuoso aggro. And this deck I am so excited for. I've seen several versions play against me, and I've been trying to figure out the right way to build this deck for a while now. But I think that I was able to pull together something that will work hopefully very well. The biggest issue with this deck is that you need to have a balance between being super aggressive and also tempo-y at the same time, because the format right now requires you to be tempo-y or to have lots of protection or to make sure that you can hold up a spell pierce while you're also attacking in for lots and lots of damage. There's so many tokens, so many blockers that you just going super aggressive typically won't work for you unless you have something like runes that can just go off for a really, really big, massive one-turn kill combo. And this deck wasn't quite at the same level of that. But I think that we are able to play this out in a way that will help us be tempo-y and also have a good amount of aggro, a good amount of power we can put on the battlefield all at the same time. And the value comes from cards like Ledger Shredder, Faerie Vandal, which whenever we draw a second card, we can put a counter onto this. Things like Illuminator Virtuoso, whenever we target it with a spell of ours, we get to connive, so we can start filtering through our deck, make sure we have lots of cards in our hand, we're drawing and then discarding, but we're able to filter through our cards to make sure we can find the protection that we need over and over and over again, find the little pieces of removal that we do have in this deck between Fateful Absence, Fading Hope, that we can target enough stuff that we can, continue to make plays every single turn, continue to get in for damage every single turn. So we're playing aggressively, but also have the tempo plays that we can stop what they're doing, tap down stuff. Like you see a guard approach, have hexproof, all these different effects that are really, really powerful. And so I'm really excited for this one. We are at 64 cards over 60, and that's partly because I wanted to play this out for testing purposes for this one, is for you guys to see what you guys actually like, which cards need to be cut down to, 2 ofs or 3 ofs instead of being full 4 ofs. And I think you can very easily go down to 60 cards with this one, but for the sake of trying to have fun with this one or whatever, we're up at 64. So the biggest issue is that typically with a deck that is running stuff like Clever Lumimancer, like Leonin Lightscribe, is that you want about half of your deck to be instants and sorceries. And right now we're at 22 cards, so that's a good chunk, but that is around, right now that's a third of our deck, not half of the cards we have available. But with how many creatures we have, typically you're in like 16 to 20 creatures. We're at 24. And this is where the issue kind of comes into play, is that I wanted to make room for things like Luminarch Aspirant, things like Monk of the Open Hand, things like Hopeful Initiate, where we don't really care about having all of the Magecraft effects. We don't need those to win. We can win just by having, casting 2 spells each turn, which works great for Ledger Shredder to make sure that we can be kind of filtering through our the top of our deck, getting stuff into the graveyard, and we can use Patch Up to bring back a Leonin Lightscribe from the graveyard to the battlefield, Virtuoso, whatever else. As long as we have a 1-drop and a 3-drop, we can get tons of value out of this Patch Up, which this works great for us. And it's an instant sorcery, it's a sorcery, so work for Clever Lumimancer. We have our 1 Symmetry Sage as well. Almost every creature has their power is less than 2, so this should be able to target basically everything except for, Leonin Lightscribe is the only one that doesn't have that, to be able to give at least a little bit of buff as we're casting multiple spells. So this becomes a really powerful card for us as well. It gives us another 1-drop in blue for us to maintain pressure even with different mana bases in our opening hand. And I also wanted to test out like running Emeria's Calls and Seagate Restoration, not for any reason that we're going to actually ever play these ones. There's always the chance, but mostly just so we can connive them away and have lands that we can discard to make sure we're continually putting counters onto stuff like Ledger Shredder or whatever. So whenever we need these, we don't want to pay the 3 life, but we're also aggro enough, tempo enough that we should be able to control the board that the 3 life won't add up too much. Fading Hope, super important. Fateful Absence, super important to make sure we can still get rid of the life linking threats that we have. I really like Exotic Pets to make sure we can get in for some unblockable damage. Sejiri Shelter to do kind of some of the same stuff here as well. Show of Confidence to be able to have tons of spells to be able to target Illuminator Virtuoso, get in for tons of double strike damage. There's just a lot of really fun effects that we can go for with this deck that I'm excited to see what we can do. There's going to be lots of tweaking for this one. Like, this is definitely first rough draft. We're going to, as you guys are building this out, if you want to try it out, make sure that you guys listen to the end of the video where I give a full breakdown of, okay, these are the different cards I would bring in. These are the different things that I would take down. I do that all at the end of the video, but I want to let you guys know up front that this deck is not finished yet. It is something that I'm still trying to figure out, and I haven't played enough test games for it to really know, but I wanted to go through those test games with you so we can have the full discussion afterwards. That's the way I like to do stuff. If you guys like that kind of content, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. I like bringing you guys fun fun, interesting content that isn't so focused on we have to win. I am super competitive. I like to have fun playing Magic. That's why I say that usually at the beginning of every video is, and we're gonna have fun playing Magic because that's the focus. That is what we're here for. And I hope you guys like it. So let's go and dive into the gameplay. Let's see how this one does for us, and wish me luck. Here we go. All right, up against Strike Up here, and this is a little issue. I have one copy of Access Tendril and one copy of another one that when we cast into Sorcery, we can put a counter onto something. We definitely need white mana in this hand. We could have Faerie Vandal, we have Spell Pierce, we have Patch Up to bring some stuff back, but we need more of our actual pieces for this deck to work. Lumimancers is amazing, Fading Hope, so we're going to keep this for sure. The question here is, am I keeping the Shredder or the second Lumimancer? And man, we can go super aggro with this play, but we were on the draw, right? On the draw, I don't think we go as aggro. I think we kind of, oh, we were on the play. Should have done it. Oh well, that's fine. Go out with the Lumimancer, pass the turn. I want to go with the Ledger Shredder sooner than later. If we find another one drop, we'll probably play this out. No double white mana for that yet. Yeah, I think right now we're still just going for Ledger Shredder, and we're going to go for some big hits on these next turns. We'll send the message. Pass the turn. All right, there we go. And this is one of the issues. This is right. Clever Lumimancer right now is a 3 of, because it is one of the main ways we can just win. Like straight up, we're going to dominate, be awesome, all of that kind of shenanigans. But it's also, I'm not sure if we can continue to keep dominating with this. All right, so we're going to go Fading Hope. If they are going for the Ob Nixilis, I want to get this out of the way right away. We have Faerie Vandal on top. I think right now we're just looking for a land so we can play multiple things. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not amazing. We get to connive here as well. So I could have just sent that to the graveyard, but I want to try to find the land here. I'll drop a Hopeful Initiate if we don't need it. Now it's Symmetry Sage. And now we're swinging in for 7. Not a bad turn. Another Fading Hope is beautiful. They're definitely going to have to get out something here. We got counters onto everything we needed. Oh, this is good. We do need some sort of spell to refill our hand rather than just connive sending stuff to the graveyard every time. Patch Up helps us a tiny bit, making sure we can refill our hand. Well, and this is where I'm wondering if we should be running some other cards that just replace themselves, like the Doggo that can replace itself. That might be better than playing some other spells. So I think that we're just going for the same play here again. We're going for Fading Hope. Bounce again. And I'm just trying to get their life total low enough that they won't be able to do a whole lot here. Oh. But I have to have a second land to really make that work. I also kind of want stuff I'm fine throwing to the graveyard. We want to find lands. We want to find a land so we can play something else here. We're going to put the Homestead Courage back onto... We're going to go Shredder this time. I want the counters onto that guy, because that's how we're going to finish off this matchup. Is with the Shredder. The Shredder. Get rid of this extra Lumimancer. Still, I didn't find a land. Hopefully we can find it off the top. I want a white source so I can play both of these out. Get an extra... hopefully an extra counter onto Shredder. Down to 4. They have to deal with Shredder this turn or be dead. If they do deal with it, though, we have to find a spell to be able to actually win. And maybe a target to deal with it. I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to do here. But this is what I want to do with this deck. I feel like we can get people down to 4 with this deck almost every game. The question is what happens at this point, because so many decks are resilient at this point that it makes the format really difficult, because people have answers. People find ways to do stuff. If they don't have an answer for Shredder here, though, it's game over. And so I think it's game over. There we go. And that's where I like Shredder, is that Shredder's a pretty difficult card to deal with. The amount of toughness it can get if we're putting counters onto it, if we have a slip out the back available at that point as well. Like, I don't know how many decks deal with that. And that's where the issue of being tempo enough, but also aggro enough really comes into play. And that game went really well. All right, so I have confidence that this deck will always have 2 lands. It's the 3rd land that we're going to have to try to work with. We have Monk in the open hand. We can hopefully find another 1-drop. I am going to keep this one with Lightscribe, everything, some removal. We have some decent plays. Get out the sort of beach. That lets us play out Monk or Leonin Lightscribe first. We'll see. We might just flash out the Faerie Vandal. Ooh, that's nice. We can get out Monk the open hand and Homestead Courage all in the same turn. We're going to go with Faerie Vandal. I don't have any ways of drawing a second card yet, but just having flying is nice. They're holding up probably Disruption here, so let's just pass the turn. Being able to play stuff at flash speed is nice. Being able to give it buffs with Leonin Lightscribe is nice. If this gets countered, I'm also fine with it, or removed, or whatever. We're just now we just need times to be able to turns to be able to try to find lands, get up to 4 lands, and find some of our other important pieces. Fading Hope. All right. The tempo begins. Yeah, up against this matchup, this is going to be a hard one for us. Do they have Meathook Massacre in hand? Monk the open hand. I can go for the Lightscribe here, and that's a pretty good play for us. We get the counter onto this right away. We set up for a really big turn on the next turn. I think that we have to at least try for the aggression. And this is where it's hard to be aggressive and aggro at the same time. Or sorry, aggressive and tempo all at the same time. Is that they're going to have removal. Ray of Feeble. So what is this? So the creature gets -4, -1 until end of turn. If that creature is white, it gets -4, -4 until end of turn. That hits so many things. That's busted. So we got the four mana. Is it only on our turn? Each turn. So I get a counter onto this on our next turn by playing Faerie Vandal and one of these. So we're going to do that instead. I could go for like Homestead Courage, Spell Pierce. So attack in. Not getting a ton of damage, trying to play this a little more tempo-y. They could have the Esper Obscura guy. Obscura Vanguard? What is his name? Doesn't matter. Pass the turn. And here's the thing, going into black mana, it might even be better for a mana base to go into black mana versus some other stuff. We're going to go for the Spell Pierce here. They have the 2 mana to play. I forgot about that. Whatever. That's fine. We can go for Fateful Absence if we want to. Faerie Vandal's a little bit better, I think. We don't get to kill this right away. They get chances to draw cards, refill. That's fine. Fateful Absence gives them the card that they would end up finding anyway, and I'd rather go for damage to face. So here's Faerie Vandal. Virtuoso. Oodalolly. Alright, that lets us draw the card. Lets us get counters onto everything. Homestead Courage onto... Yeah, we'll also go Virtuoso. Probably discarding whatever we find here. Another Virtuoso. We'll go one Fateful Absence. I have to be a little bit greedy to try to win this. This is the hardest part that I've been trying to find with this one, is that the balance between greedy and greedy for aggro and tempo. I know I've said this a million times already, but I don't know the answer between those. So they can take up, draw a card. They have plenty of chances for answers. They could have a farewell here, and we don't have the slip out the back right now, which is brutal. But then we'll have the Illuminator Virtuoso be able to rebuild. Not having the Fateful Absence for protection is brutal. Depopulate. Oh, yep. Is this not blue and black? It's just a blue ninja. How about that? Virtuoso. Aspirant. Oh, do they have a disruption still? I was thinking that they didn't have it because Vanishing Verse. Okay, that's good too. All right, we've been able to find quite a few threats that we should be outpacing their removal. Kaito definitely helps out with that though. So we need to get rid of that first. Raffine. Land isn't a terrible draw. So I can pay for the... Let's see here. We're going to go... I feel like they're going to be running Duresses in this. Should I get this into the graveyard? I think Farewell is more likely. So let's go ahead and use this now. Homestead Courage. I get to put the counter onto this. I get to see if they let the Kaito go away anyway. Counter there. Swing. If they go for the block with Rafine, I get to kill both. Obscure Charm. Rafine or Kaito, which is better? That's a tough choice. So now we get a choice between Rafine and Kaito, and honestly, I think Rafine is more scary. Especially when we don't have anything to do for the next turn. So yeah, kill this while we can, while they don't have any responses. All right, here we go. What you got? I mean, we're definitely in trouble. We need to top deck something amazing. Yeah, this is, I think, one of our worst matchups, is this deck. And we really needed them to not have answers for the first 3 turns. And at that point, we might have had a chance. But now, no, we're going to be too far behind. Alrighty, on to the next one. All right, up against this person. Keep this. This is nice. We get to hold up Spell Pierce for a couple of turns. If they have a Thalia, it's a bit annoying here. But Faerie Vandal's not bad. Gaida. Ooh. Angels are going to be difficult. Let's get out the Aspirant, or am I going for Faerie Vandal here? I think I just want counters onto my guys and being able to swing in. So getting the counter this turn, being able to swing on the next with Homestead Courage or whatever else is going to be, I think, better. We can hold up Spell Pierce and still have this as the second. We'll see. Righteous Valkyrie. Could go super aggro, keep their life total lower. Down to 18. Hall of Oracles is interesting. We want that for later turns. So I can go Lightscribe, Homestead Courage, counter there. Next turn we have Homestead Courage again, hopefully one other spell, and then Show of Confidence. And that's potentially an amazing, amazing turn. So yeah, we're just going to go super aggro. Homestead Courage. Get through the blockers, get them low enough on life total that Valkyrie doesn't help a ton. But depending on how many angels they have here, we're in lots and lots of trouble. Let's see how that goes. I'd be intrigued to see how well this worked out just in a cleric stack. Just Gaida, Youthful Valkyrie, and Righteous Valkyrie. No other angels, maybe like a Sanctuary Warding on the top end. Because I noticed that a lot of the 4-drop slot, a lot of everything else there was what was making it difficult. Yeah, they just gained way too much life. I don't know how we come back. We needed Fading Hope. We needed our removal spells. So Homestead Courage. We're gonna go aggro again, but they're gonna swing back and win, is the issue. Show of Confidence. Counter. And counter. Get past the 6 toughness this way. And then we get to put a counter here, so we have 8 on each. They can double block one of them. I mean, that's a lot of damage. They take it all, and then they swing back for the win, right? Yeah. They're not quite at lethal, I don't think. Or is it exactly lethal? It's exactly lethal, yeah. See if they actually do it. We got a ton of damage there. Like, we got to be super aggressive. We just, if we had a Fading Hope, if we had whatever else for this turn, we could probably get them on the next turn. So this was super close. Yeah, good game. Bummer. Oh man, this deck is so close to being exactly what we need for this format. Is it going to be enough? We'll keep seeing. All right, we got a hand with multiple 1-drops, which is nice. I like the Shredder. Keep this one. Initiate first or Monk of the open hand, because I'm going to get out Shredder on the next turn, and I'm not going to cast 2 spells yet. I think I'd rather... I will be able to swing in with Ledger with a counter on it and get a counter onto this. I think we ultimately get more power out of it that way. Sweet. Yeah, that's a great spell there. We do need an extra white source, so land is still very important. Aspirant's not bad. We can still get counters onto everything we need. Discard, Get the free spell into the graveyard, I suppose. Another Shredder. Could let us draw lots of cards, a lot of filtering. I think it's just Aspirant, though. Counter there, swing in, get the counter. Yep. I mean, this alone is pretty good. We're going to be able to outpace the Mihik Massacre. They might go for just the Aspirant here. That seems kind of interesting. Discard 2 cards. Show of Confidence. I think I'd rather have the extra Shredder, although being able to cast 2 spells, any white source, any untapped land lets us still do that with the Homestead Courage. And then we just put a ton of power on the battlefield and we start swinging in really aggressively. Okay, that's fine. Shredder or the Aspirant? I think it's Aspirant. There and there. Attack in, get a counter here. Down to 7. You have to have board wipe this turn, and I don't think they'll be able to have it. Blockers could also work out for them. Not able to cast a second spell at any point here. Very frustrating. Maybe we do need more lands, I think, in the deck to make this viable. So they definitely have removal they can hold on to. What do I want them to not kill? And I think it's second Aspirant. So I think we go 2 counters on one of these guys. Keep the Shredder available. I want them to kill one of the Aspirants instead of the Shredder, because the Shredder is how we win on the next turn. So I want 2 counters onto one of them so that we can still buff up the Initiate. Swing in. Yep, got the counter before they did anything. 1 block. Lethal. You have to have removal. Infernal Grasp still kills you. Deadly Dispute. Digging for answers. Man, I'd love for one of these to be Slip Out the Back or Fading Hope or whatever, just to give us another little chance here. Deadly Dispute still has 2 mana, could still pull something off. Yeah, I get an extra counter onto this guy though. Yep. Fun stuff. No blue mana. Pretty aggressive start here though, so we're gonna keep it. I like the Access Tunnel with this. Play this out. We're gonna go Hopeful Initiate first, because I think I'm wanting to... We can't play 2 white spells on 1 turn. So we're wanting to get out multiple creatures to be able to get counters onto this as well. There we go. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Lumimancer. Don't put it on there. Pass turn. Come on, blue mana. Smoldering Egg. Blue mana. Ah. Hey. Monk of the Open Hand. Homestead Courage. Counter there. Lots of power. The ability to go wide. No conniving. No ways to get through everything else. Bummer. Down to 17 past turn. All right, we're just trying to avoid their ability to go with a board wipe to everything, kill everything at once here. They're going to have Prismari Command. They're going to have the Draconic stuff to kill whatever. If we can get all of our creatures toughness above 2, Crush the Weak goes away, whatever else. So yeah, we're trying to dodge the Crush the Weak or whatever this turn. And then if we get past that, I think we're actually still favored. Even if, okay, we did find some mana. Sweet. Homestead Courage onto Lumimancer again. I want to get its toughness, its standing toughness a little bit higher. Spell Pierce or Fading Hope? Do I feel like they're actually going to have something here. And I think that we go ahead and swing in. We have enough to get a counter onto Initiate. We have enough to protect for the next turn. I think Spell Pierce is going to be better. And I don't need a Fading Hope here. You still get in for 6 points of damage. I'm fine. Hopefully having a second spell in the next turn. Yep, a land is nice too. We have Gave the Frost Dragon online. Oh, we need 2 more lands. Magma Opus to the graveyard. All right, this could be just a blue-red Arcane Bombardment deck. It could. I mean, that's a pretty good way to go about it. Expressive Iteration. Not going for Spell Pierce here. We're going to try to hold on to make sure we can cast something on the attack. A Fading Hope gets us really close to lethal. One other spell. So good. They could have Fading Hope. We want to... There's a lot of things we want. We want all of the things. Another Homestead Courage would be beautiful. Here's my command. Did not find the land? Ooh. Doesn't get to cast anything here. Pass to my turn. Ah, everything is blue. Come on, deck. Do I keep holding on to this Spell Pierce? I could just attack here, and we get them low enough that we're fine. Do I actually win if they have nothing? Fading Hope. Get this up to 4/4. Don't get the counter there. We have 10. Not enough. We swing in. Hold on to Spell Pierce. Wait for another turn to actually win. 5 points of damage is plenty when they're down to 6. Pass the turn. If they flip this, we're in trouble. If they have like burn down the house, we Spell Pierce and we're in amazing shape. Draconic Intervention. Did they exile? Spell Pierce. They do get to flip around the Smoldering Egg. Oh, they don't, right. Fading Hope, win. There it is. Okay, so we got there. That was scary. Mana base is really, really a big issue with this hand, with this deck right now. And the issue with like adding more lands and everything is that it's still just more white and more blue. We didn't really have a way to have more deserted beaches. I have 3 instead of 4 for deserted beaches because I didn't want as many tap lands either. Maybe going up to the 4 would be better. Oh man, we do have a creature, but nothing that really is helpful here. I hate only getting this kind of hand, but we don't have any of our game plan in that hand. And this is the issue with going for everything else, is that now we're just in a little bit of trouble. We're going to keep this. Do I care about the Symmetry Sage over Monk and Luminarch? I don't think I do. And do I care about Homestead Courage over that? I can actually only cast 1, really. Yeah, so we'll go like this. We'll go for Shelter first. We're going to go Monk with Open Hand, Symmetry Sage next turn. Luminarch, hopefully find a land for Homestead Courage as well. There's a land. All right, so Monk and Sage. Get the counter. Dude, mana base is so funky with this format right now. For anything 2 color. 3 color, you can end up having some good stuff. Like maybe we do just go 3 colors simply to have all of the pathway lands, but even those aren't consistent enough. These lands, if you're trying to play aggro, coming in tapped it's just better to go monocolored than any other version. Like you're going to have more consistency with that. Where being able to go tempo, I think gives you a potential way of having a better play. All right, Luminarch. We're going to get counter onto the one that can then attack in afterwards. Onto itself. Counter onto, yet this one again. Attack in. Down to 13. That was good stuff. Big board wipe. We would have patch up available here. We're looking for the ability to connive. There's a 2-drop creature that can in white that can connive. There's some other things that just automatically have you connive or draw cards on. Playing an opt might be a really good thing to play in this deck. I'm not sure. Okay, Arcane Bombardment. This is actually a good matchup for us. A lot of the removal is really expensive. We have to kill them before burn down the house or get this power level, the toughness high enough to be able to take 5 damage. And I think that we can do that. We just need to top deck a really good spell here. Anything to play 1 to 2 drop. That's everything except a land. So anything but a land here is amazing. Patch Up, I can still cast for 0 value just to get the counter, just to get the buff up here. How close to lethal does that get us? Not enough. Ah, come on. Okay, play this out. So we definitely go Homestead Courage first. We get the counter on 2. They're ways away from being able to go for burn down the house. So I think we just spread the damage. Put onto itself. Fading Hope is annoying. If they bounce this, though, we at least get to cast it again. Spikefield Hazard. Okay. That is annoying. And it's exiled here, too, so we don't even get the ability to go for Patch Up. So 7 damage, though. Ah, Spikefield Hazard. Aye. Brutal. Okay. We have 5 damage. Patch Up I can cast. I don't have to have targets, right? Return up to 3 target creature cards. I do have to have targets to even cast. No, it says up to 3 targets. So I can cast it first, I believe. And they gain the life here. Goodness. Now we're finding every single land. We go for lethal. Or do I just get them down to 1? If they have any kind of removal, we're in really bad shape. Let's just go for attacks. Not going for lethal here. I'd rather be able to use this for value. Down to 1, pass the turn. We give them a flippin' Celestis play. Oh, they cast something. It's if anyone doesn't cast stuff, though. Yeah, so they get the Celestis still here. We had lethal, maybe. Now we draw all the lands. All the other games when we don't draw lands. The inconsistency of this kind of deck is so frustrating. And we have all of our connive cards that we just haven't found the last 3 games. And that's the issue of going to 64 card, is that we're going to have those less often in matchups. And so I think we need to cut out. I think 1 Faerie Vandal is definitely... Dude, all the flippin' exile. What am I supposed to do about that? Nothing. All right, go Virtuoso. Last turn. We're still presenting lethal. They can go for Celestis. I have to be able to connive with this. They could go for Arcane Bombardment and have 1 spell. Hope to spare. I hate you so much. At least we have something to do with our Patch Up now. Yay. Oh, man. Hunt for Specimens. Yep. This is just terrible drawing. We had this game locked down if we drew anything valuable the last 3 turns. And we just did not. So, up to 3. Yeah, what do you do about that when it's like you do have to have a deck draw better to have a chance to win against certain decks? And this has always been the issue with these kinds of decks, is that the requirement for how solid your draws need to be. We're gonna go ahead and just do this now. I want them to have to deal with 2 threats instead of just 1. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Be able to actually deal with these kinds of decks. I want this kind of deck to be something you can play in a format. That's what I want. And the issue with this one is that consistency is going to be lower than any monocolor deck. It's going to be lower than any, like, it's not quite as powerful as this kind of deck that they're playing right there. Up to 4. And I just don't know the answer for it. We're getting close to Hall of the Storm Giants being able to swing in, so we're still going to play this out. Now we need lands. Virtuoso go, pass the turn. They get to gain life from this Environmental Sciences. I don't think it's the Arcane Bombardment, has the spell to cast. And depending on what they find here, we're just completely done. What was it? Hunt for Specimens. Yeah, that's pretty bad. A life-gaining blocker for us against us every time. And if they have a 1-drop, I'm not sure if they played a land yet here. Oh, they went for double Hunt for Specimens. I was thinking they would go for this, but that makes sense. So yeah, it's game over. It is definitely game over. They hadn't put a land. Ah, now we're finding a land. Yeah, okay, we're done. Okay, we'll go for one more with this one. We're 3-3 with the deck right now. So it's not like it's losing terribly. It's just, it's inconsistent. We're drawing terribly consistently. Up against Timbo Slice, no creatures. Ah, got a mulligan. Oh, and then no lands. Mulligan, and then game over because we've discarded too many things. Is it Monk the Open Hand, or do we just go for Double Aspirant? Double Aspirant is actually really good. Monk the Open Hand lets us go a little more aggro. I could keep this around and actually go for just one Aspirant, have some protection for it. That's not good enough. I think it's one Aspirant, one protection spell. We have more blue mana. We'll try that. Go here. This is awkward. Mulligan down to 5. Definitely not what we're needing. Shredder go. Shredder can be really good for us. If we have to find a land here, if we find a land, amazing shape. It has to be a white source. This has to not die. But yeah, mulligan down to 5. If we have to mulligan down to 5 on this deck over and over again, there's no way we can ever win. So we need to be able to get more lands into the deck. And we need to still have the consistency of plays and everything as we're going on. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Go Aspirant, get countered, have removal for everything. Yeah, we'll go here. I'm guessing they have Fading Hope or some sort of removal spell. Fading Hope, yep. I hate that in the format right now, it's game over at this point. Too often. All right, now we're looking at Arcane Bombardment. That gives us a little bit of a better chance of being able to come back and win. Just because that deck can have very poor draws. It could just be blue-black control as well, though. Tapped land, yay! Blue mana, the thing we really, really don't need right now. Counter there. Do you have another Fading Hope? Swing in. Yep, of course they do. And we need another white source before we can play anything else. Ah! Deck, stop it. Stop it now. We have so many more white sources than blue sources. But we have there's so few dual lands in blue-white. And we definitely don't want to be playing tapped lands for this format, for going for an aggro deck. That would be miserable for this deck. So we just have to draw the perfect hand. And if you don't, you've already lost. I don't like that.
Get in, get out.
Draws and discards. At least they're trying to find removal right now. Oh. No. Aspirant go. Spell Pierce is nice. We at least have the ability to interact here. Draws card, discards.
Now this is a juicy secret.
I want them to be able to cast 2 spells. That would be nice too. Let us dig for a land. So this deck right now has 22 lands in it with 64 cards, which I think is the right ratio for us to be finding about get up to 3 lands. The ratio of white to blue right now, we should be finding 2 white sources before we find 2 blue, but because we're at 64, because everything, the inconsistency is just astronomical. Spell Pierce. They have a Fading Hope. They get to cast 2 spells. We at least get to connive before anything else happens. And that is useful. Conniving is so good with Homestead Courage and everything too. 2 white spells, come on. Or another white land. Of course. All right. We need to get out of range of Mihik Massacre. If they're digging this hard for removal, that means that they're going to have to try to find more. Homestead Courage there. Please don't have another Fading Hope. If they have another Fading Hope, I'm going to be so angry. Oh, and I needed to get this out first. Darn it, darn it. I needed to play Faerie Vandal out first so I can get a counter onto it. Fading Hope, yep. We still get to connive here. Which now I'm not sure. Another Homestead Courage in the graveyard's not bad. If it lets us find another white source, that's fine. Come on. Half the pressure, Kaito. Last turn. They are down to 2 cards here. They can filter again. Tainted Indulgence, 2 cards. Plenty in the graveyard that they should be able to have enough costs. No, they have just a lot of 1-drops, though. Yeah, they had to discard. Draw, discard, just digging for more answers, which is good for us, but we're also still in trouble. Trespasser gets to take a Homestead Courage. Yep. For the love. Another flippin' blue spell. All right. Ledger Shredder. We want to be able to use this Homestead Courage, but I also want to force them to have board wipe. So I'm going to go for Monk of the Open Hand, and we're just going to really hope to find a white land here so that we can actually cast it. Good heavens. Get rid of the Seagate Restoration. More blue mana does nothing for us. Counter onto Shredder. Hit Kaito. Dude, okay. What is our odds to find land at this point? 29% each time, but that's not including the modal lands, which does bring us up to like 33% or so. So we're in the right place to be able to find lands each draw. Every land we don't draw this. I mean, that was a land, I guess. Just our odds for blue mana is really bad. 21% to be able to find white, 15% to find blue, and 3%. I mean, whatever. All right, so they're good. Another land. That means they get to these memory delusions pretty soon. So we have to be pressuring. They're going to be able to find answers soon. It's mostly going to be in the shape of a Mihik Massacre. I'm hoping they don't have Shadow's Verdicts, because that is where we get in lots of trouble. Sejiri Shelter is interesting. That does give us a white land. This means we can't cast 2 spells this turn, which means I think I want to go for exotic pets over anything else. Getting this out of the graveyard isn't terrible. It does let us be a threat here. Okay, where are they at for Mihik Massacre? They have 5, so we're gonna get this so they can't kill that with without Mihik Massacre. All right, so go in. We're attacking there. Okay, get rid of Kaito. Force them to be able to get value with this Memory Deluge. That takes up an entire turn, though. So we just have to have them not draw anything this turn. They can... I could Homestead Courage. Be able to block this. They could steal this one. That's fine. Fast turn. Oh, it flips! Right. Stealing 2 spells. That's fine. Tapping out is still okay for us. Yeah, they get against him live. I like exotic pets here. If we can find a Leonin Lightscribe, we're in awesome shape. Please, please don't have Mihik Massacre. Memory Deluge. They have Hall of the Storm Giants they can bring out as well, so they can try to race. There's a lot of different options they can go for. There is the Mimic Massacre on 3. Yep, nothing we can do. Does that mean that they have something to play here? They had negates, they had some other stuff before. Exotic pets. Only one of them gets a counter onto it. Okay. Another land. Now we get the lands. Yay! Alright, just power on the board, I think, is all we're looking for here. Graveyard Trespasser is annoying, but I think that we just want to grow up one of these guys. So it's a little bit harder to deal with. Knife there, get it to the graveyard. Patch up would have been amazing! No! Alright. Down to 10. We have 10 damage that they can't block with what they've got. So we are close to lethal. Any removal, though, Mimic Massacre, they can gain some life. They do have creatures to gain life with against, but we can top deck something amazing here. We're still close. We're still close with this matchup. Every game has been at least somewhat close. It's just a matter of, can we draw the things that are actually needed? Is this going to be a gotcha? I don't think it can be. I think they're just trying to gain the life that they know they need. Memory Deluge. Okay. Yeah. You can try to find like a March of Wretched Sorrow here to kill this. But then they're casting 2 spells. We're going to connive, get an extra counter. Hopefully. Still have tons of pressure. This Shredder's going to be hard for them to deal with. I think we're doing it. Virtuoso. Alright, so we don't have lethal. I think that we don't put anything else on the board right now. We just keep him at 1. We pass the turn. It becomes night again. More Graveyard Trespassers are annoying. They have Hall of Storm Giants, but it's not enough to kill us. Oh, for the love! Dude, give me a flippin' break. That is so annoying. Shelter's interesting. Pass the turn. Shelter and Virtuoso here is actually a good chance at winning. We need one more protection spell, I think, though. Man, this is so close. And we have to be able to connive into something that gets a counter onto it to have a chance. If they hold back mana to be able to get like block with Hall of the Storm Giants or this, then we can shelter in response to whichever one they choose for whatever color they choose, so that they can't be blocked. Passing turn gives us a chance to find a second spell, which is amazing. All right. That could give us a chance to cast one more thing, though. So we're going to go ahead and attack. At least that's not what we connived. At least that's not what we connived there. Attack in. Brings up the Hall of Storm Giants. I think I have to do this now before it goes to defense. This leaves up so much mana for them to play around with. We are going to target for them. Connive will trigger. We have a chance to draw into something amazing here, but we also need the counter from this. So anything amazing we could draw into. Vote of Confidence is really interesting. Very, very interesting. Get rid of the planes. It does not connive. It does not have lethal. Let's see if they hold off on it yet. So protection from blue. Darn it. So I'll be able to kill the Hall of the Storm Giants now, but I won't be able to win. Okay. I still want them to block it, and I should be able to kill this, which is definitely beneficial. But Virtuoso will also die. And there's nothing better to do with this right now. We get 2 spells. We get to connive twice. Oh, okay. We can autopay for that one. Okay. Come on. No, we needed that to connive. No! You gotta be flipping kidding me. We found 2 lands at that moment. Nice. Good game. I just want to see what we have off the top of our deck here. Yeah, Monkey Open Hand. We'll give the full-on good game. You can kill us now. We're not going to block. We're not going to do anything. I'll just concede. Oh, that was brutal. I don't know how we could have drawn worse in those moments. Like, the timing that we drew the lands, the timing that we drew everything, like, it kept us just hoping, but also never in a place where we could have done really anything. Ah, so frustrating. All right, so we ended up 3 and 4, and with how many times we're on the play, we should have been much higher in chances for that. And the issue with this deck was simply draw better, and that is the issue of the deck, is that I don't think that you could consistently be drawing better than we were. The fix that you go for with this is you get rid of here. Let me just create a copy here real fast, and I'll do the fix. So you guys can see it at least. So it's drop 1 Faerie Vandal. It's 1 patch up, and it's 1 something else, and then 1 shelter. Maybe 1 of these guys as well, and that way you still have the 22 lands. You're able to draw into lands more consistently, hopefully. Like, maybe it's Lumimancer, but I think Lumimancer was a really good play. I like the numbers, a lot of other stuff. It's 2 more spells somewhere out of this. I don't think it's show of confidence, but maybe we have a chance to dig through enough that we should find those. But we just need to have a higher chance of finding Virtuoso or Shredder in the opening hand, so we're not having to mulligan to 5 all the time. Like, we were just mulliganing to 5 too often. I think it's slip out the back. I think I like you approach Spell Pierce and Shelter as protection more. This gives a counter on the stuff, but it also means that we might not get through for damage, and we want to be a little bit more aggressive. And then we drop 1 Shelter or one of these ones, Emeria's Call or Seagate Restoration. And the issue is that doesn't fix our issue with not finding the right colors of mana. It doesn't fix any issues with any of that kind of stuff. Maybe not having Access Tunnel, Hall of Oracles. We go back up for 1 Deserted Beach. We go down an island. I don't know. Maybe it's Access Tunnel. I never really used it. It could have been really good, though. Access Tunnel could very well be what wins us a game many times. And I thought that we would have enough mana to be able to do that, because we really only need 1 of each color. But no, we need 2 of white and then 1 of blue, and sometimes 2 of blue as well, which just makes it a little bit harder. You need more Deserted Beaches, but that slows our mana base down a ton, which is really bad. So this is kind of where it would end up being. I think that you, by the way, with my mana base, I always try to stay on even numbers. You're noticing that the way that Best of 1 works, this is built for Best of 1. If it wasn't Best of 1, I think I would switch up my mana base a little bit to go to whatever. But typically with this, if you stay on even numbers, your opening hand has a higher chance of having 2 lands in it when you open with your opening hand. So I was trying to game the system a little bit to make that work. And I think that with this now we would have a higher chance of having a decent hand. And maybe 61 isn't that bad. 61 cards isn't that as bad as 64. But so now I think we'd be a little bit more consistent. I'm going to do like a little bot match just to see what our hand will look like here. Number 2. Let's just see kind of what the opening hand would look like with this. But I don't know what we can do to make this any more consistent, because the issue is there. The tempo, I felt like between how well it was going for tempo, how well it was explosive, were amazing. Like it was a really, really good deck. And see, this is beautiful. Lumimancer turn 1, Shredder turn 2. Then we go Homestead Courage, Fading Hope, hopefully find another land with Shredder to be able to go off with this. And we can win by turn 4. Turn 3, turn 4, at least turn 5, we'd be able to have it. We have some protection, we have some whatever, or removal. This is a beautiful hand. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it just kind of depends on what you can actually find. So anyway, that's the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.